Welcome to this very important Bitcoin update. Bitcoin is crashing. Bitcoin went below $20,000 for the first time in several weeks. What does this mean? So let's begin by bringing our parallel channel back. Here on the yellow lines were the lines of support and resistance. Since a few days ago, Bitcoin was trying to hold above this line. Can extend here a little bit more. It tried to recover, tried to stay above, but the stock market yesterday on Friday came down very strongly. So here is I think when the Fed spoke in Jackson Hole, there's always this scam week, and then the market makers push the price down very strongly with a huge volume, I might add. So it is looking quite grim, and I've been talking about this for some time. I believe Bitcoin is going way lower, and I will show you the Fibonacci and my prediction for the actual bottom on this bear cycle. In the very short term, we might see a little retrace back to this resistance. Maybe not. If we zoom out a little bit here, so this was the actual bottom, 17,500, and of course things are looking bad. And we have to see if the price will hold above 17,500. If it goes below, I expect 10,000, if not lower. So I traced the Fibonacci. Bitcoin loves going to the Fibonacci levels. In my opinion, it is the technical indicator that works the best. So I traced the Fibonacci from this temporary local high of 48,000 all the way to the recent low, 17,500. And if we extend that, we have the next Fibonacci level, which would take us to $9,200. I'm not saying that it is going to happen, but I'm just saying there's, in my opinion, a 75% chance that the bottom will be at 9,000. In my opinion, it will go slightly below 10,000 just to liquidate everyone. And that's why I've been saying for weeks and weeks, don't try to catch the bottom now, because this might not be the bottom. And I'm talking on a time period of months, if not quarters. I don't really care if Bitcoin is going up tomorrow or on Monday. It doesn't really change things. In my opinion, we should have a long-term perspective because it is the easiest to analyze and it is the easiest to profit from those big moves. But of course, you need to have a lot of patience, which is the hardest thing to do when you focus on long term. You might be tempted to buy here. Maybe you bought around here. You thought this was a bottom. And I actually bought at around this price. Maybe we will go up now. And it never reached my target at the 382 Fibonacci. So I actually lost money here. Imagine buying Bitcoin at $10,000, maybe even lower than $10,000. It will be worthwhile. And then you just do a 2x long from the bottom after we see a huge scam week such as this with high volume. You know, maybe one from like 15,000 all the way to 10,000 in the same day with a huge volume. Then we know that this is probably the bottom and we have not reached that moment just yet. And to give some perspective, I want to talk about stocks as well. So Nasdaq yesterday, look at this red chart. This is the daily chart. Nasdaq just crashed 4.5%. This is not normal. We are seeing a huge crash. If we go to the weekly candle, you can see here March 2020, and like Bitcoin, these things tend to recover the previous levels. So I would not be surprised if Nasdaq a few months from now, if it would go to 8,000, 7,500 around these levels, and then finding the bottom and then a huge leg up recovering all these previous levels, because I don't think inflation is going to be solved anytime soon. We have a huge energy crisis in Europe, not just Europe, in the whole world. We have problem with food supplies, we have the war, we have a lot of different problems, we have massive inflation everywhere. It's a global phenomenon. So I do think there is a lot more downside to come, and I do want to mention the Nasdaq bubble. It was from here all the way to here. This was like 85% fallout. So if we go back to March 2020 levels, it's still less than the Nasdaq bubble. So these things can happen, and in my opinion, this crisis that we are in right now, it is much worse than the dot-com bubble. So we have to pay attention to this, and that's why it is super important to leave cash on the side for if and when Bitcoin goes to 10,000, goes to 5,000, if it gets there. I'm not saying that it's going to get there, but if it does, you will be happy buying at those levels. You're made for the next cycle. But I just want to show that the stocks are still very expensive. Now, coming back to Bitcoin, we need to talk about the weekly chart because Bitcoin is now below the 200 weekly moving average, and this is a very bad sign. It means the 200 weekly moving average is acting as a strong resistance, and Bitcoin will have a very hard time going above. Right now it is at 23,000. So if Bitcoin can recover, yes, it would be good, but I don't think it is going to happen just yet. I think it's going to happen at a much lower level. And Bitcoin didn't even get close to the resistance, the long-term resistance since the all-time high. It didn't even get close. Like we were looking at 27,000, maybe 29,000. It just didn't happen, and it's just coming crashing back down. So if we go back and look at the previous bottom, so it was around here, and here was the COVID crash. So let's put logarithm so we can see a little bit better. So as we previously mentioned, Bitcoin likes to go back and complete these U patterns on the chart. You can see it here. Bitcoin just crashed all the way just to recover these levels, and then it shot straight up. So I think we could see something similar to that. We could maybe go here. So 11,000, 10,000, 9,000, around these levels, or we could go even lower to 5,000. If we do go to 5,000, I would just go all in. If Bitcoin keeps crashing below this point, it means Bitcoin is maybe not so valuable after all. But I doubt Bitcoin is going below 5,000, at least for more than one day. I believe there's no freaking way. They are printing so many dollars. I just don't think it's going below that, but it could go to 7,000, 9,000, around this region, and this will be a very strong buy. In my humble opinion, this is not financial advice. Of course, we have to see as things get closer, the impact in the economy with this huge crisis that we are in. So it's not a crisis to take lightly. Leave some cash on the side. If you do want to buy over time slowly, unless we see a huge scam wick such as this. You see the volume here, it was a massive volume, it was a massive scam wick, and then yes, this means it was the actual bottom. Right now I don't see it, so I won't buy Bitcoin or crypto or stocks anytime soon because I just don't see a way out of this crisis. I just want to put things into perspective, be very careful and be prepared for $10,000 Bitcoin, be prepared for $5,000 Bitcoin, even if it doesn't happen. All these charts that I showed you are from Binance. If you still don't have a Binance account, you can sign up with the link below, 20% off your Binance trading fees for life. As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next Bitcoin update.